Guess what, guys? I got it! Yay! So after many years of waiting, I'm very thrilled to share to you my experience, my journey of getting this European passport. First, we can have this chat while I'm having coffee and I need my blanket. So it has been my dream to get this European passport because it has always been my dream to travel around the world. And as someone who loves to travel, it means so much to me that I'm gonna be telling you my backstory. So my backstory was I married an Icelandic man. I know a lot of you would say that, you went through the easier way, but like even if you're married to an Icelandic person, you still have to wait certain years. So when I first came here in Iceland, it was 2018. I was in a tourist visa. After like a month, we decided to marry, and then I decided to apply for temporary residency permit. I have to tell you that processing itself, even after sending the application, you have to wait another year. So of a total of 5 years, I waited for my Icelandic passport. So I remember the first requirement was you have to stay a certain year. So for me, I had to stay at least 4 years since you officially registered in Iceland, because I was married to an Icelandic person, so it was a bit fast. But for the others, I think it's 7 years. The second requirement was you have to enroll in an Icelandic class and you have to have a certain hours. So in those years of stay in Iceland, they have rules that if you are outside Iceland for more than 90 days, then it's gonna be a problem. You have to continuously be in Iceland for not more than 90 days. If you are someone who's getting the citizenship in Iceland or in other European countries, I think it should be almost the same. Don't stay outside of the country too long. When I was applying also, it was also a requirement to be a permanent resident in Iceland. So the problem was I did not know that I had to be a permanent resident. I was holding a temporary residency permit every year. But then when I was applying for the citizenship, we asked UTL, or which is Icelandic immigration. They told me I can just apply a permanent residency permit and citizenship application. So I filed those paperworks. Sorry, I burped. Don't follow what I did because it could be risky. What if your permanent residency will be declined? If you failed the citizenship application, you cannot apply again. You have to wait, I think, a year again for you to be able to apply again. I was nervous. I was really nervous when we did that. It was a big mistake from our side, but I got lucky. I got approved with my permanent residency permit 1 month before I get my citizenship. I also needed to pass an Icelandic exam. Remember it right? It had a reading, speaking, listening, writing. It was quite easy. I think I would say that finishing level 2 was enough for me to pass the exam. When I applied for citizenship, they said that you cannot be in debt because they will be getting your bank statements, bank details, everything. They will check how much money you have. We bought an apartment before I got my citizenship and we were still paying for the mortgage, and it was okay. It did not affect my citizenship. This one very important. I remember when I was applying, you cannot have fines or you did not go to prison for it. It has a specific time. Good thing I was a good girl. That's why I did not continue my driving lessons, because I was too scared that I would get fined. Like even if a simple fine of like speeding, it would affect the citizenship process. So they asked for a copy of my passport, the certificate of legal registration history, criminal records, documents proving sufficient funds in the last 12 months, payment income pay slips, guaranteed regular payments, confirmed copies of tax returns for the last 3 years. Yeah, it was a lot of paperwork. I had maybe like this, a lot of paperwork. So it was a long wait, but it was totally worth it. So yeah, that was basically my experience applying for citizenship. My tip for you would be, for people who likes to get a European passport, is to double check the documents that you have, because that happened to me. After 10 months of waiting, I received an email from UTL and it said, oh, you're lacking this document, and that added another 1 month. It could have been longer of waiting time. So yeah, it's very important to check. So I waited for about 1 year and 1 month. There's an app called Island that we use in Iceland. But it will say there, Rikisfang, Icelandic or Filipino. So yeah, I kept checking that up many times. You know what? When I held it in my hands, it felt surreal. I felt freedom, you know, because whenever I go outside of the Philippines before, in the border, the immigration in the Philippines, my God, you have no idea. Like, I was interrogated many times. It felt so illegal to go outside of the country because sometimes people look at you like, even if you're a tourist, they're gonna think, oh, you're gonna go and work. It's a nightmare. I felt so nervous. I felt like I have drugs or bomb inside my luggage. I felt like, did I check? Did I put drugs? Did I put bomb in my bag? When I got it, I almost felt like crying, like, oh my God, I can finally travel more countries in the world. And I was able to travel to New York. So that's like one of my dreams, also travel to New York. I went to New York during my birthday. I also went to South Korea. Oh my God. It felt so different, like having to cross borders without being interrogated much. Travel to places I couldn't go without a visa before. You might think that I'm lying. That's me. I might look sad in the passport, but yeah, I was happy. I was happy. To anyone watching this, are you considering getting the European passport? And if you have more questions, you can comment down below. I'm gonna try as hard as I can to answer all your questions. If you like this video, please subscribe. Please, pretty please.